Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping right into something super important if you're working in the cloud. We're talking about the latest Azure service updates.
That's right. We've sifted through the official news from, let's see, June 30th to July 2nd, 2025. And the summary is fresh, generated just on July 6th.
Yeah, so it's really up to date. Think of this as your quick way to get informed. We're boiling it down to what you really need to know.
Exactly. If you're building on Azure, managing solutions, keeping up is crucial. It's not just about knowing what's new. It's about boosting performance, tightening security, staying compliant.
Right, so we'll pull out the key stuff, GA features, previews, even retirements.
Helping you understand the why behind the what.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, general availability, or GA. This is the stuff that's ready to use right now, fully supported. And we're starting with databases. Big news for PostgreSQL users, right?
Uh-huh. Azure Database for PostgreSQL Flexible Server, quite a mouthful, now supports the latest minor versions. We're talking 17.5, 16.9, all the way down to 13.21.
And the neat part, Azure handles the upgrades automatically during monthly maintenance.
That's the really smooth part.
So what's the actual impact of that automation?
Yeah.
Less work for admins?
Oh, absolutely. It means you automatically get those critical bug fixes, security patches, performance tweaks without lifting a finger. Think about the time saved. No more planning maintenance windows just for minor version bumps.
Yeah, that sounds like a huge operational win.
It really is. Frees up your team for more important things.
Okay, staying with databases. Azure SQL Database. There's some big improvements to server auditing hitting GA, better performance, availability, reliability, and server audit action groups are now live.
Mm-hmm.
For folks dealing with strict compliance rules, how much does that help, those action groups?
Oh, it's a game changer for compliance. Seriously. Proving you meet those tough audit requirements used to be, well, painful, very
Yeah,
manual.
right.
Now, with these enhancements, especially the action groups, you get really fine-grained control. You can define specific things to watch, like failed logins or who's changing roles, and group them. Makes reporting and alerting way easier.
So better visibility, easier proof for auditors.
Precisely. It directly improves your security posture and simplifies demonstrating compliance.
Got it. Okay, let's pivot to networking and security. Azure DNS security policy is now GA. This gives you visibility into DNS traffic right at the VNet level.
Which is pretty powerful.
Yeah, and you can send logs to storage, log analytics, event hubs, plus DNS filtering based on lists. What does this unlock for, say, a SOC team?
Well, seeing DNS traffic at the VNet level is huge for threat hunting. You can spot suspicious lookups, maybe C2 communication, misconfigurations, things that were harder to see before natively. And piping those logs into Log Analytics or Sentinel, that gives you massive analytical power for finding anomalies or responding to incidents. It's like turning the lights on in a previously dark corner of your network.
Makes sense. Also in networking, Azure Firewall. It now supports FQDN filtering in DNAT rules. That's GA2. So routing inbound traffic using domain names instead of just static IPs sounds convenient, but what's the bigger picture?
It is convenient, definitely a quality of life win, but it's more than that, especially in dynamic environments. Think microservices, Kubernetes, backend IPs change all the time.
Right. Managing those firewall rules must have been a nightmare.
Exactly. Constant updates, potential for errors, security gaps if you missed one. Now, your rules can point to the actual service name, the FQDN. It simplifies CI/CD, reduces admin headaches, and makes your security more resilient to application changes.
Nice. Okay, moving over to storage and hybrid cloud territory. Azure Files NFS shares users. Listen up. Encryption in transit using TLS 1.3 is now GA. Secures all that NFS traffic.
Yeah, this is critical, especially for enterprises moving sensitive NFS workloads from on-prem to Azure.
Because of compliance,
Flash.
IAPA, GDPR, things like that.
Absolutely. TLS 1.3 is the latest standard. You need that end-to-end encryption for sensitive data. This provides that assurance, ensuring confidentiality, integrity, authentication for data moving across the wire, even within Azure. It really helps meet those strict compliance needs.
Good to know. And for hybrid cloud folks, Azure App Service on Azure Stack Hub version 25R1 is out. Ready for download and update, brings new features, stack updates, improvements to App Service on your own hardware.
Right. And this regular update cadence is key for hybrid consistency. It means you can use the latest app service features and security updates in your own data center, just like in public Azure. Developers use the same tools, ops teams have familiar processes. It really helps bridge that public-private gap.
Seamless hybrid, basically.
That's the goal, yeah.
Okay, let's talk DevOps and identity. For monitoring enthusiasts, the query editor in Azure Monitor Metrics is now GA. Big deal here is you can directly query Prometheus metrics using PromQL inside your Azure Monitor workspace.
Oh yeah, this is huge for DevOps and SRE teams. PromQL is, the standard for querying Prometheus, which is everywhere in the cloud-native world.
Right.
Bringing native PromQL into Azure Monitor, that unifies things. Teams don't need to switch contexts or translate queries. They can use their existing PromQL skills and dashboards right within Azure Monitor. Makes troubleshooting much faster, better observability overall.
So leveraging existing knowledge directly in Azure.
Exactly. Very smart move.
And the last GA item for this segment. Two-way forest trusts for Microsoft Entra Domain Services, also GA, lets you set up forest trusts between Entra Domain Services and your on-prem Active Directory. Why is this a big win?
This smooths out a major wrinkle in hybrid identity. Managing access across on-prem AD in the cloud could get complex.
Sync tools, workarounds.
Right. This two-way trust simplifies authentication. Users logged in on-prem can access cloud resources seamlessly and vice versa based on the trust relationship. It streamlines IT, improves security by unifying that identity plane, removes a big barrier for a lot of orgs.
Makes that hybrid identity story much cleaner.
Definitely.
Okay, that's a lot of GA stuff.
Yeah.
Now let's look ahead. Public previews and an important retirement notice. First, previews. For Azure SQL, starting early July 2025, there are a couple of interesting things in public preview. You'll be able to convert a database to hyperscale without breaking your existing active georeplication or failover groups.
Ooh, that's significant.
Yeah, and also the MSQL Python driver gets some new preview features for developers. But that hyperscale update seems like the main event.
I'd say so. Converting to hyperscale is great for scale, but previously you often had to rebuild your DR or HA setup. That's risky for critical apps.
Downtime, complexity.
Exactly. Being able to convert while keeping those geo-replication or failover groups, that's massive for business continuity. You get the scale benefits of hyperscale without disrupting your high availability. Makes those big migrations much less daunting.
So scale without sacrificing resilience during the transition.
Precisely. And the Python driver updates are nice too, shows they're still focused on the developer experience.
Okay, now for the other side of the coin. Retirement. This one needs attention. VM Insights Map and the associated dependency agent are being retired. The date is June 30, 2028.
Right. And after that date, poof, gone. No support.
2028 sounds like a long way off, but for something potentially embedded in monitoring, should people be worried now?
I wouldn't say worried, but definitely planning. Yes, now. 2028 will arrive faster than you think, especially for core infrastructure tooling.
Really?
If you rely on VM Insights Map for visualizing how your VMs and applications talk to each other, you need a transition plan. Losing that visibility suddenly in 2028 would be, bad.
So what should they do? Look for alternatives.
Absolutely. Start evaluating replacements now. Look within Azure Monitor itself. Maybe Network Watch or Connection Monitor offers some of what you need. Or consider third-party APM application performance monitoring tools. Many offer very sophisticated dependency mapping.
So the message is, don't wait until 2027. Start researching and planning the migration away from VM Insights Map soon.
Please do. Proactive planning saves a lot of pain later.
Right. Wow. Okay. That really covers a lot of ground from just a few days of updates. We saw lots on security, database improvements, hybrid getting stronger, better monitoring, identity. It's across the board.
It really is. And if you step back, you see the pattern, right? Azure is constantly evolving to meet these really complex enterprise needs. Security, scale, making hybrid work smoothly, better operational tools.
Yeah.
For a technical audience like you listening, getting these details is key. It helps you leverage Azure better, design smarter solutions.
Absolutely. So think about what stood out to you in this roundup. Was there an update that solves a problem you have right now? Or maybe something that sparks an idea for a future project?
Yeah, definitely check out the details for anything that caught your ear.
We encourage you to click through the links, test things out in preview or GA, see how they fit. That wraps up this deep dive into Azure's latest updates.
Keep learning.
Until next time.